Oh, welcome. We want to look the question that was obtained under Dick's expression that may help us to get the velocity of the H layer for the multiple layers. This equation, if you remember, was obtained being expressed as Vn, meaning that the velocity of nth layer is equal to the square root of the root mean squared velocity of the nth layer times the two-way vertical travel time of that layer, then minus the root mean squared velocity for the layer of n minus 1 squared root mean squared velocity root mean squared velocity, then multiply by t naught n minus 1 over t naught n minus t naught n minus 1. This was the question, the expression that was obtained under Dick's ideas. But let's see if maybe you want to obtain the velocity of the, let's say, the second layer or the third layer. Let's say if n is equal to 2, meaning that the velocity of the second layer, how will it be? This will be given as the square root of the root mean squared velocity of the second layer squared times two-way vertical travel time for that second layer, then minus root mean squared velocity of the first layer squared times the two-way vertical travel time for the first layer. Then you divide by the two-way vertical travel time for the second layer minus the two-way vertical travel time of the first layer. So you can obtain the velocity of the second layer. How can you get the velocity of the second layer? Well, if you have the data collected during acquisition, then if, under the further processing and the drawing of the graph, or by using the Green's method, bring t squared against the x squared, you will have two graphs, one for the first layer, maybe this is the first layer and this is the second layer. The slope of the first layer will give us the root mean squared velocity of the first layer, and the intercept will give us t naught 1. The second graph is the graph for the second layer. From it we can get this, the slope of it will give us the root mean squared velocity for the second layer, and the intercept will give us t naught 2. If you substitute directly here, you get the velocity of the second layer. This operates for any layer. If you want the velocity of the third layer, you follow this practice, then you finally extract the informations you want. What if now you have the velocity of a certain layer? How can you get the thickness? Because the important parameters to extracting mostly is the thickness and the velocity, because they are specific properties of that layer. So the thickness of the nth layer will be given as the velocity obtained, the velocity of that layer. The velocity of that layer you multiply by the time. So the velocity of that layer, the velocity of the nth layer, you multiply by the one-way vertical travel time. You multiply by the one-way vertical travel time of that layer, which is the t naught n minus 1. You divide by 2. This is how you can extract the velocity, the thickness of that layer. Thanks for listening and watching.